So in this video, I'm going to share a bit about the Start Shoot Grow Studio. Hey guys, it's Zaylee Barclay. I'm the founder of the Start Shoot Grow Video Academy. Welcome to the Start Shoot Grow Studio. You can find us over at startshootgrow.com, and we are hosted on Thinkific. So in this video, I'm going to share a bit about the Start Shoot Grow Studio. This is my in-home studio where I record all of my course content, all of my marketing, all of my sales videos, all of the things, masterclasses, summits, all of those amazing things. And I want to show you what an in-home studio is like and how I kind of built up my studio, how I position things, where things are, what lights I'm using, all of those things. I feel like as course creators, sometimes we don't know what to actually use. And I just want to preface this by saying you don't have to have everything that I have in my studio. I did not start off like this, and I still don't have equipment that costs, hundreds of thousands of dollars like some of the other people that are in the video space. I use what really works for me. So let's get into it. Okay, so if you have not done so yet and you want to learn more about online courses and how to use the Thinkific platform, definitely make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. You don't want to miss out on any new uploads.
Okay guys, this is a behind the scenes of the studio space. I'm so excited to walk you guys through this. The first thing that we'll be going through is cameras, because that's the most important part of this journey, right? Without a camera, we cannot have stellar video content. So I'm going to show you the two cameras that I use. I really mainly use one, which is this camera that you see over here, but let's get into it. Okay, so this is my camera. It is the Canon EOS RP. I really love using this camera. It is so efficient and it works easily by, I can plug it up easily to my computer and I can use it with the program that I'll tell you about that I use. And it's just seamless and it stays on for long periods of time because I batch record. So this camera is just really efficient for me. So I have this camera mounted onto a tripod with a ball head, and this camera might look a bit bigger to you because I have a teleprompter attached to it. So the teleprompter that I use is the Glide Gear teleprompter, and I'll show you why I really love this teleprompter. I feel like it is so efficient. It's not that big. It looks big right now, but it's not too large, and I can see very well on it. It has a panel of glass at the front of it, and I can lay my iPad and I can read directly off of the teleprompter with ease. Okay, so now you can see my iPad on the teleprompter and you can see that I was probably recording something. I love that I am able to use this teleprompter, and I'll share the teleprompter app that I use just to make the flow of things so much easier. Okay guys, let's talk about lenses really quickly. I film with a 35mm lens on both cameras. I feel like that gives me enough range for capturing the shot that I would like to capture for recording, and it also allows for a good blurred background. If I shot with a 50, I might be too close to the camera and I don't want that. So I love using a 35mm lens, and I'm using a 35 on both cameras. Super helpful, and it captures the shot that I want, but it also blurs my background out. Now I'll just zoom in here and show you the Geekoto, and this is the tripod that I use, and it's a really strong tripod. That's why I like it. So even though my camera and tripod setup, or my camera and teleprompter setup, may be a bit heavy, it's totally fine. I love using this tripod because it's really strong and I'm able to rotate my camera with ease. Now our studio space doubles as some of our home space, so we have some shoes over in this corner, and then the office starts from here panning over to the right. Okay, the second camera that I use is the Canon 70D. I've had this camera for quite a while and I really love it. It is probably about 4 years old and was one of my first DSLR cameras, and it's lasted probably, I would say, 6 years. I had to just get it fixed once, but that's totally fine. It is a workhorse of a camera, and I feel like Canon never made anything like it after. So these are the two cameras that I use primarily for my work, and I actually use this one more for picture taking. I use that one more for videos, or if I need a second shot or a second angle, I will use this camera along with that camera. Okay, and this is just a view of the two cameras and where they are and where they are positioned inside of the in-home studio. All right, the next thing we have here is an Elgato Key Light, and I really love this thing. I'll turn it on for you. Look how much light comes into the room. It's going to turn on in a little bit again, but so much light comes into the room with this one panel. I have 3 of these panels, and so I don't use all 3 of them. I used to use 2 of them, but I recently changed my lighting setup, and I'm loving this setup a bit more. So I hardly use this key light anymore unless I need to really fill in some light somewhere if I feel my set is a little too dark. But I love this light. Just gonna take you around here so you can see what this light looks like at the front. It is a really flat panel, and I love these lights for saving space. So if you don't have a lot of space in your studio, these lights are really great. Now what I will do is show you how flat this panel is. You can see how flat it is and how much room you can save by using an Elgato Key Light. There are other lights like these on Amazon, so definitely look into flat LED lights. Now, because we're deep into lighting, I will show you the light that I use overhead. So I am usually sitting down over there, and this light is the light that I've been using lately. I may switch this light out, but I really love how it gives a soft glow overhead. And so it just helps to illuminate me instead of the full on set. And so I've recently changed my lighting into loving that aspect of things. So if you look at this light, it's really just a soft box up there. And so I just wanted to make sure and show you guys this side of what that light looks like. Now, just so that you can have a good idea of everything that I'm using, I will be sure to link everything down below so that you can have access to everything that I have in my studio, just in case you want to get it for yourself. All right, now that we've covered lighting, I just want to share something with you guys. One thing that I'm really mindful of is having light that is one temperature in my space when I'm recording. So if I turn this light on, you'll see that lighting looks really yellow. So I usually turn off my overhead lighting so that I can film. What that does is it helps the camera not to fight with different temperatures of lighting, right? For lack of better words, so that I can film easily and so everything looks even as well. So because my overhead lighting is yellow and my lighting that I have here is more of white light, you know, I don't want those two to clash. So that makes a big difference in filming. So if you are filming, turn off your overhead lighting and make sure that your light is basically one temperature, and that will help your video to look really, really good. Okay, so what I want to show you before we move on is my system that I use for recording. I used to use my MacBook Pro, which you can see over there, but I stopped using it because it would scream a lot. The fan would go crazy, and it's a pretty new MacBook. The fan would go crazy during recording, and I would hear it inside of my microphone, and I didn't like that. So I ended up recently purchasing a Mac Mini. You do not need Apple products to record amazing videos, and so I just wanted to be sure to say that. But this works well for me. I love Apple, and so that is what I use in my studio. And so I'm able to plug my camera into here. I'm able to plug my Ethernet connection, which is the white cord that you see right there. And I will zoom in on this a little bit. And I'm able to plug in my Ethernet connection, which you see right there at the bottom of the screen. I can plug in my monitor, which is right here. Sooner or later, I'll replace for a smaller monitor. This is actually one of the computers that I have in my home, the monitors, sorry, that I have in my home that I use to edit sometimes, but I brought it in here because I'm getting ready for an amazing event. So I have to have things just set up and ready to go. But the Mac Mini does need a monitor. So I'm using this one to see myself, which I'll show you in a little bit. Also plugged into here is my audio, which we are diving into next. Okay guys, for audio, I have two microphones that I love. So the first microphone that I love and have used for years is the Audio Technica 2100. This is a USB microphone. I love using USB microphones because I can plug them in. This microphone is pretty solid, and when I'm looking for really good audio that sounds like someone's radio, I use this microphone. It's absolutely amazing. And I have it here on a tabletop stand, and I also have a pop filter attached to it so that it sounds really good and it reduces those pees and pops that we get when we are recording audio. Now, the other microphone that I have is the Blue Yeti, and I really like this. It's just more aesthetically pleasing for my desktop when recording. So you'll see me recording on set a lot with this. I really love this microphone as well. It works really well and it captures awesome audio. And I kind of like that I don't have to speak directly into it for it to capture great sound. Now, what I really love about both microphones is, as mentioned before, they are USB microphones, and these I plug into my Mac Mini or a hub that hosts different USB ports, so I can plug it into whatever ports that I'm using. And I much rather USB microphones. They're just so easy to use. So if you're looking for a starter microphone, look for a USB microphone instead of an XLR microphone. Okay, this is my setup. Hey guys, hey, this is the monitor that I was telling you about. And so with this monitor, I am able to see myself. I'm able to see what's going on. And when I sit in my seat, I can control everything that is going on over on the camera, which is right over there. So the cool thing is I can even control my teleprompter with that app that you see right here. I am also seeing myself. I'm seeing my screen right there, so I can tell if I need to change something, if I need to move something around. And if I have some notes or something that I want to keep track of what I'm recording, I also have it on screen as well. So this is basically like my control center. And I love being able to see everything clearly. Like I said before, I may switch out this monitor for a smaller one in the future, but it's not a big deal right now. So guys, before I take you on the back end of my screen and how I operate things on my computer, I just wanted to take you behind the scenes of it all. This is my recording space. A few things that I keep in mind when I think about my recording space is I want it to be peaceful, I want it to be quiet, and I want it to just capture a vibe. You know, when you invite people onto camera with you, they're going through an experience with you. And I think that's pretty important for you to remember. Even if you don't have a lot, you got to remember that you bring the vibe and that your vibe actually brings in your tribe. So I think it's really important for us to remember that. So this space is a really quiet space. There's never a lot going on unless I'm in here recording. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about is sound dampening. So I do have a few rugs laid down so that my sound when I'm recording in here is better. When we first moved into this space, I live in a high rise. And so I chose a space where I could create effortlessly. I used to have an external office that had lots of natural light, and I realized that I would race against light all of the time in order to record and in order for things to be quiet. And so I made the choice to bring my office back in home where I can control the environment. I think that's really important for us to remember. Natural light is beautiful, but I feel like we can control artificial lighting so much more. And so I moved from a beautiful space with lots of natural light into a space with artificial lighting. And sound is also very important because my old space had lots of glass, and this space is just an enclosed room. It's a pretty big room, so one thing I had to work on was the echoes, and so bringing in a few pieces of furniture that you might see around, keeping a few pieces of clothing around, all of those things help with sound dampening. Now, when I say sound dampening, I mean having your audio in your videos sound really crisp and sound good. And I honestly could do a lot more in here for sound dampening. So I know that I'm not done with creating this space just yet. But even though I'm not done, I'm not letting it stop me from working within the space. Okay, so let's talk about backgrounds and backdrops. And so we intentionally created an accent wall in here, and I love the color blue. I feel like it's so rich, it's so calming. Like, I feel so good when I walk into the studio and I see this blue wall. I initially thought I would get really tired of it, but I did not. And I'm not tired of it just yet. And it's been a few months, so I'm really happy about that. Now, one thing that I want to take a look at is those bookshelves behind me. And I love these shelves. I got to put a few of the things that I really love onto that shelf space, and it helps aesthetically. It just helps for a beautiful background. Now, one thing I just want to say is sometimes I love filming on the bare blue, and so I left part of my wall bare so that I can, you know, move that desk around and film as well. Sometimes I also film diagonally so that you can see my workspace setup. So you can see a little more bare on the wall. I have a few feet well that doesn't have any shelves or anything. I do have a whiteboard that you can see the edge of, but I can roll that and move it around. And if I want to use that wall, the bare wall, I just move it. And there you can see my workstation, and in the shot of me working, you can see that workstation behind me, and it just gives the vibe of this is my workspace. And when I get into here, I'm here to serve you on camera, but I also get a lot done too. So here you can see my workstation. It is one of my favorite places because I get to just zone out. I don't use a desk that I record on to do deep work. So here I get into deep work. I might get into some editing. I might get into course creation. This is where all of the magic happens for my students of the Start, Shoot, Grow Academy. And it's just a little vibey. And I like to have a little essential oil going, or I'll have a candle lit, and that just gives me a vibe. Over there, you can just see a few of the things that I'm talking about, items that I collected along the way, along my own journey that I use to create just a little bit of aesthetic and, you know, peace in the workspace as well. I like keeping items that I love close to me, and I love having my books within reach as well, because sometimes I'm doing something and I want to reference something that I remembered from a book or something like that. Now we're back here in this shot, and what I want to show you is just having the best of both worlds in my shot. So having a bit of blue over there and having my workspace over here. And what this does is having this desk face diagonally just gives me more depth in the space that I have to film. This space is big, but it isn't like a full-on movie studio, right? So I have to use the space in this space just in a smart way. And so what I love doing is filming against the V in a wall. So I like positioning myself at the corner or, you know, in front of a corner. So that way I get more of a blur in my background and I just get a little more depth with my set. So when it blurs out, you can see things going on behind me. You see a little bit of ambient lighting. You might see my computer going as if I'm back there editing, but I'm actually right here talking to you. Sometimes if I need that bare wall for filming, like I said, I will remove this whiteboard and I will push things around and I will move my desk in this space right here and you'll capture that wall. So sometimes you'll see me recording and all you see is that blank wall behind me. And I love that that gives me versatility when I'm filming. Now I love having, you know, different spaces to film in. So you'll see this one, you'll also see that bare wall set. And sometimes when I'm doing Instagram or IGTV, I will just film over here in this little corner. Now, this little corner might look simple, but when it's well lit, it's a cute little space. I have a few handbags on there, just a few things that I like. I have a little seat right there. I may put a plant on that little table and just have it look nice. And what I'll do is, you know, face lighting in that direction. And, you know, that's another little space. So use your corners in your room. If you do have an in-home office, corners are really great to create a different ambiance or something different. Okay, so the last thing that I want to share about this space is its versatility. I have a few things that I wear to shoot that you might see me in all the time. Yes, I have a wardrobe that I wear to shoot so that I can grab something easily. This wardrobe really consists of shirts and then some sweaters. I think when you have sweaters and blazers and things like that, you're able to interchange and make your outfit look like a whole different outfit with ease. So if I wear a black base t-shirt, I'm able to put on this blazer or maybe interchange with that one. I can do things that just, you know, make it look like I spent hours getting ready for different video sets. So having a few outfits, as in a few jackets or coats, are always definitely helpful.
Okay guys, so there are a few things I want to show you. I use Ecamm Live for live streaming, right? And so this is the tool that I'm actually using to record. So I use Ecamm for live streaming and for recording, and I absolutely love it. It is a Mac product. Now, if I am recommending something that is very similar for people who are using Windows, I recommend Ecamm. And if I'm recommending something for people who use Windows, I definitely recommend Restream, right? I love Restream and I use it along with Ecamm as well. So you can see that we're entering a live studio here, and I'm gonna allow my mic and my webcam and just give access to it all. And here we are, right? And so this is only showing my screen because I'm actually using my Ecamm to stream into Restream. So that's what I usually do. I use Ecamm in a way where it streams to multiple different platforms along with Ecamm. So I use Ecamm and Restream together, basically, right? Just so that's not confusing. So I use Ecamm to film. I love the quality of the content. I love that I can, get my camera, my high quality camera in here. And I love Restream because I can stream to multiple platforms at the same time. For me, I have a Facebook group. I have a paid Facebook group, a free Facebook group, and I have my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, and I just want to catch all of the people. So that's where I will use a tool like Restream and Ecamm together. You don't have to use Restream with Ecamm, just want to say that, but I do use them together because I love what they're able to do together. Right. And so I may have a page that has, whatever I'm speaking about in my video here, just so that I stay on track. But what I do is, which is so cool, I use Prompt Smart Studio. So Prompt Smart Studio is where I am able to open up a file and actually, stream this or sync this to my teleprompter. So I showed you guys my teleprompter before. And I can actually sync this to my teleprompter, or I can use, they have a teleprompter app as well, right? Which you're probably seeing popping up right now, but that's not what we're going to use at this moment. I'm going to close this out, but I use Prompt Smart if I'm using my teleprompter. I don't always use my teleprompter, but sometimes it comes in really handy in keeping me just focused on flowing through the video, because sometimes I can get long-winded. Right? So this is what I use. I use Prompt Smart Studio. And so that's connected to my iPad. And I love that I can sync it. I love that I can just make sure that it's in alignment with, what's going on my iPad, even though my iPad is far away from me. And just like that, I am in different clothing, right? That's how easy it is to change your setup or change, yourself up if you're batch recording video content. Threw on a t-shirt. I threw on a, little sweater here and changed up my glasses and my earrings and my accessories, lit the video a bit different, and we are ready to go. Okay, so listen guys, you tell me, do you think that this was recorded on the same day or a different day? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. So now let's dive into the back end of what it's like, or what I use on screen to get my work done. Let's dive into it. All right, so this is a live demo of the behind the scenes, and now you can see me on the screen. You can see Ecamm, or what I use, and I'm using QuickTime. I use QuickTime a lot to screen share. Sometimes I do use Ecamm as well, because you can screen share with Ecamm. You can do so much with Ecamm. But what I'm going to do is just show you a bit about the behind the scenes of my video, right? So let's first dive into Ecamm. So I'm just going to minimize this. Now, when I'm using Ecamm, I am able to do so many things. So the first thing that I'm able to do is get into camera effects, and that's how I make my videos look a bit different. So I add LUTs to my videos, and that is LUTs. And so LUTs are basically like a Lightroom filter for your video. And it's pretty cool because I am able to show you, like, this is without a LUT. This is what this would look like without that LUT, right? And obviously I have played with other parts of my process to have this video look the way I want it to look. So I'm just going to get it back to where it was so you can see me a bit better. But I love that with Ecamm, I can play around with brightness. I can play around with saturation. Like I can, you can overexpose yourself, which you don't want to do. I can't remember what number I was on, maybe like 7 right there. You can also play with the temperature of your video, the tint, and use your eye. Make your videos look the way that you want them to look, or if you are inspired by someone else, you can look into what somebody else is doing or the look that they're going for as well. So for me, I love that I'm able to just change things around. So this is a bit of aesthetic. You don't have to do it, but I'm just showing you guys a bit of what I do on the back end. So I go in and I play around a bit. The other thing that I do sometimes is zoom. So I love that with Ecamm, I can zoom all the way in, right? So you can see me clearly. And even in my videos, to change my shot a bit, sometimes I might film just regular like this, but sometimes I might do something like this, like come closer. Although you can do that in post, sometimes it's cool to just change the shot up. And when I say post, I mean in editing, but sometimes it's cool to change the shot up. You know, I like doing that. And so I love that I'm able to crop out some things. Maybe I want to frame myself a bit better into the shot. And so I can use Ecamm for that specifically. If I was using my Canon camera with the Canon apps, I don't have these things at my fingertips, and I didn't like that. So I like being able to go in and change my settings. If I want to record in 4K with Ecamm, I can. I love that this is my lens. I can basically look into my monitor to see if I like the shot that I'm getting. Sometimes using your camera, you know, it's a bit harder that way. So I love feeding into my computer with Ecamm and, you know, just using my monitor so that I can see like exactly what's going on. The other cool thing is I can see if anything goes wrong right here, right? And essentially later on, I may put that monitor right under my camera just so that it's just so much more seamless and helpful. But I just wanted to show you guys like what aesthetic was, like what I kind of do. Like sometimes I switch up my accessories, sometimes I switch up my glasses, my clothing, sometimes I switch up via a LUT or by color grading in a different way, just so that my videos stand out a bit more. You know, I like doing things like that. I feel like it adds just something different to your content. The last thing that I do is I really think about my clothing as it pertains to my background, right? So sometimes I may, you know, wear brighter clothing so that it contrasts with that background so that the focus is on me. And sometimes I make sure that I wear colors that are complementary to my background so that it doesn't allow me to blend in and get lost in the background. But guys, yes, thank you for hanging out with me in the Start, Shoot, Grow studio. I want to hear what you think about all of this. Is this a lot for you? Because I feel like my studio is not that crazy. It's still in home and I'm still building as I go along. I definitely didn't start here. So I want to know from you, what do you think? Do you have your own in-home studio? What are you using? Did you learn anything new? Or do you have anything that you want to share with me about your studio space? All right, guys, we made it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said before, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when we upload over here anytime. Listen, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know down below in the comments, what does your current space look like? Are you filming from home, or do you go somewhere else to film, or do you hire a videographer to film all of your content? I can't wait to see you in the comments. All right, take care.